Continuité d'homme.
I'm an island boy. I look up at the sun. I stake HEX.com. I fell from the bottom to the top. Alright, great show. A shout out to Hex Kong. I think this almost has, 95,000 views. This should get 100,000 views by tomorrow for the Island Boys. And you know, for the people who are like, Hex is only for the most sophisticated investors, for the finest, for exceptional of people. Screw you, man. You don't even know what Hex is then. Listen, everyone who's in Hex right now, from the degenerates to like, I mean, you could be anything and anyone right now. And if you buy Hex in a decent amount, like a small amount, really, you're going to make it. You're probably going to make it. Not financial advice. First of all, not financial advice. You don't consult your financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor. These are just my opinions and thoughts, and I'm just, just talking out loud here. All right, so yeah, that was great. And you know what's funny? If these kids actually, let's say they have Hex right now, and they stake it for years, that would be hilarious. I would love it. I would love it if they became rich and millionaires, just so the envy and hate could percolate, right? From everyone, from all the haters and all the people, all the smart boys out there, right? All right, so let's take a look at what's going on. I'll talk about the God Whale. It'll be random in the video, so you guys with attention deficit disorder can stick around and watch my video. I'm gonna talk about a lot of things, a lot of good stuff, a lot of pumpamentals. We're gonna get this price going, guys. All right. All right. So, Boomer Coin, the futures launched, and it's kind of like buy the rumor, sell the fact. That's what I'm feeling right now, because it did break an all-time high and then fell right back down. But it needs to hold that and go higher. So real quick, because in the past I've always promised to look at Bitcoin, and I would just forget because that's how much I care about it. But I do care because there's traders still in the Hex ecosystem. There always will be. And they're, that's great. We need them. And I'll explain why. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. All right, here's Bitcoin, Ethereum on the right. Ethereum It looks stronger than Bitcoin. So let's take a look. See. So it topped out around 66,600. Pretty much. I mean, 66,700. Um, will it break out to the upside or break down? I don't know. We'll see in a second, right? Or soon. If it drops below 60,000, then it's going to create probably a cup and handle. And the reason I say that is because they're going to print more money in the coming months. Because there's a lag. There's a 6-month lag from when they print trillions, and then it kind of hits the economy and the velocity of money picks up, and then the economy starts turning a little more. And then soon after, inflation hits again, and then the economy dumps even harder. And this is what stagflation is. It's cycles of inflation and then deflation as the economy suffers from the inflation. But whatever they're going to do, they're going to keep doing this because what are they going to do? Let the house of cards fall? Because then it's their asses, right? Because that's how bad it's going to be. All right, so it's on a 4 count on the weekly. I think Tone Ways calls it the MRI now. Hilarious. It's on a 9 sell on the 3-day. I love the 3-day chart. It's very accurate a lot of the times. So it's on a 9 sell right now. I think the price is gonna dump personally because it lost momentum. Pretty much, I think it was buy the rumor, sell the fact, right? Which started at 30,000. You got your 1x in Bitcoin, a little more. I would play it safe and take profits. That's personally, if I was holding it, but I'm not. On the daily, it's neutral. Still have a greenish Shimoku cloud, and a lot of the moving averages are about to cross, like golden cross to the upside, and including my blue line in the 200-day moving average. Kind of a bullish event. So we'll see. If these cross, sometimes the price trades into the cross. That's kind of what I'm thinking, I'm hoping for. But it might not, and then it might cross. So it's still probably going to take a few weeks for the moving averages to cross here. So we may get a little more downside back down to, there's a lot of support around 55,000. So, that wouldn't surprise me. Temporary dump to like 55,000 and then just shoot straight up from this golden cross. But this 3-day, that's the concern, right? So why am I even talking about this? Well, for one, it takes Ethereum with it usually on a high velocity correction. And that'll affect HEX a little bit, not a lot. And then HEX rebounds. And I've noticed this in the past year. Whenever Bitcoin corrects, people take profits and then they buy HEX as a hedge. And then whenever Bitcoin breaks out, they sell HEX and buy Bitcoin. It's kind of annoying. But I'll talk about the traders, how they wreck themselves. Because it's different. It's different with HEX, guys. It really is. And I'll explain. So here's the HEX chart. Now, people who are freaking out, you must be new. You must be new to crypto. New around here. This is nothing new. This price action. Absolutely nothing new. I mean, dips are in the game, as Richard says, right? Why wouldn't they be? If anything, they're buying opportunities. If you're staked, you are buying the dip every single day. So let me explain. Well, for one, let's talk about historically the dips. I want to talk about this. The first year of HEX was not really real market. It was, but it's not. Because we had the adoption amplifier lobby, right? Where you could take your Ethereum and then mint your own HEX at I guess sometimes a discounted price to the price which was trading on Uniswap. Sometimes not. I was lazy and I didn't go on Uniswap for a while, and I wish I did, but it is what it is. So that was the first like 12 months, right? So there was a big payday, one time ever event where you got like a 30% bonus. And if you were staked, funny thing, people keep EESing, emergency end staking, thinking, like forgetting or not knowing that I don't even want to say this because I kind of like that they do this. But if you emergency unstake a stake which was staked prior to big payday, that 30% gets nuked if you EES it. All right, so corrections are nothing new. These are weekly. This is weekly time frame. Every candlestick represents a week. All right, so the first major swing up right here was a lot from day one. Even inside of that, you're going to get dips. There was a 70% dip, right? And then we had another dip after the first swing up, which was another around 70% correction. That one lasted 100, and that was a while. That was like a full bear market in HEX. It lasted 126 days. And then we had a breakout, a rally, right? And the price went up around 655% after a 70% dip, which lasted a while, 126 days. The prior rally or bull cycle lasted 147 days, with a dip within it, which was another 70% drop, and that lasted 35 days. If you're looking at my screen, because I'm all about the visuals. Also, this is on I'm not sure. Oh yeah, no, this is on Uniswap V2. All right, so here's another correction, right? This one was an 86% drop, and it only lasted 21 days. And then we had a rally soon after, a 788% rally soon after. That rally only lasted 42 days. Then we had another correction. This correction lasted 56 days, and this correction was about 66% from that local high. Then we had a huge run up. This is pretty much when Richard, I believe, announced we're going to fork Ethereum. And this was when he first announced it, and everyone got excited, right? Because you're going to get a copy. And that's super bullish. I mean, we're taking over, right? All right, this rally was 7,884% around. I mean, give me some leeway here. But around that, it doesn't matter when you're talking about numbers this high. So 7,884% rally, which lasted 203 days. And finally, we just saw a recent correction, right? Which started 42 days ago, a little over a month ago, right? About 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So this correction, which we are in right now, has lasted 42 days. It's about a 58, 59, 60% correction. Okay? Now, are we going to see an 80-something% correction, a 70 or whatever? A lot of people all of a sudden came out of nowhere and went into one of my free Telegram groups. I banned one of them. I love banning people. I love it. Like if you're trying to FUD the price so you could buy in lower because you missed out on, the massive gains. Like, get out of here. Stop trying to manipulate people. Like, I don't want people who go into my chat groups and like follow me to miss out and get left behind, because a lot of them already have. There's people in my chat group who are buying farms and ranches and Lambos. And then there's people in my private group who just, I don't know, watched the price go up and watched everyone else get rich. Like, it's weird. It's like a phenomenon. It's like, it's what happens is you think you missed out, so you're afraid to buy, but then the damn price just keeps going higher and higher and higher and higher. So same thing happened with most people in Bitcoin. It happened to me in Ethereum. HEX, if you truly understand it, you're just going to buy every single dip. And that's what I did, right? I posted in the alerts room since day one. I'm like, here's a dip, buy it. Throw some pocket change at it. Throw $1,000 here. Throw $1,000 there. At every low, at every huge swing low. And the people who did that are the ones buying like farms. All right. So, and then the people who didn't take it seriously, who keep thinking they're missing out, just never buy, too afraid to stake. I mean, I'm going to explain to you why HEX is different. It's like evolutionary finance. It's revolutionary. It's going to take over, like the world. I'm going to explain. But for now, let's stick to the charts. All right. So real price discovery really started in November of 2020, right? So technically, if you want to think about it that way, HEX is only a year old. Not even. If you want to not count the AA lobby, when you could mint your own HEX. So it's just based on that alone, it's very new. Still gatekept. Not listed on really any exchanges. I mean, the list goes on, right? People still hate it. People still refuse to talk about HEX. Nobody in crypto talks about it. It's not mentioned anywhere. Like, the gates have not come down yet. Still pre-viral. Although we're starting to punch through. That's what all this, the Island Boys and that fake guru rich guy, like the things we're doing, it doesn't matter. People are going to forget about this. Listen, guys, in the beginning of Bitcoin, people were stamping dollar bills, like literally ink stamping on the dollar bills by Bitcoin. And they would wear t-shirts and put up posters, like in yard signs, stuff like that. I remember back then. It's still early. So this is nothing out of the norm. Absolutely nothing out of the norm. In hindsight, when the price goes higher, this will just be a dip, a little dip, a dip buying opportunity, right? All right. So zoomed in, this is a daily chart of HEX. Let me explain why the traders, it's not going to work out in the very, very long run. HEX is literally designed, the smart contract is designed to transfer wealth from the people who hold liquid and speculate to the people who are staked. Okay? So let's say you're like an awesome trader. All right. Let's say you bought this dip down here. Realistically, you probably bought over here, right? Around 11 cents, 12 cents. By the way, I do post trading charts in the private group of HEX, sometimes even in the free newsroom. And I post them because I see patterns and bull flags and fractals, and I'm like, this is probably a good buying opportunity. But I'm never really posting selling opportunities. Because one day, because it's not in the charts, no one can predict this. When a whale decides to put up YouTube advertising, when maybe a few whales get together and create a pool, or maybe when the entire community could pool together, just small, everyone could donate a couple $100 or something, and we could put billboards outside of every major city in the U.S. Like, is that calculated within the price? No. All right. Is it in the price when a billionaire decides to just market buy? No. That could happen any given day. Is it in the chart when someone decides to sell Bitcoin and come back and buy the dip? No, not really. The pools on the dexes over a long period of time, it becomes more illiquid technically. HEX is deflationary. What that does is it's going to leave trader, like the price will at some point start just shooting up and up and up, and it'll leave traders behind very quickly. It could happen. You'll see it's going to happen. And there's other factors. Like, for instance, you know what? My mic, I think I fixed the audio issue. Anyways, here's another chart. There's things you guys don't account for. Like, I don't know, when I make videos. I looked at the dates and look at that. There's a pattern. I like this pattern. I really do. I will be making a lot more videos. I have a new setup and everything. I'm not hex flexing. I haven't sold any hex, except for maybe tiny gas fees. But I did buy like 15 grand worth of computers. So I got a new setup. It took some time. I've got a lot of things going on. But I'll be making more videos from now on. I promise. In a market video, like the stock market, that'll be my next video. I'll try to get it done by this weekend. All right, so yeah, I mean, there's other things you guys don't, consider. Just a little flex. I mean, obviously, as the price goes higher, and there's more people within the system, maybe I do not affect the price at all as time goes on, and the more videos I make, right? So let's get back to what I was talking about. All right, so you're trading hex, right? You rotated out of hex. Or actually, let's start from this breakout over here back in August, right? So you're a great trader. You bought this dip right here. The price then pumped. You made a nice little, let's say, because you're never going to get the tops and the bottoms. That's impossible. But you'll get the meat of the trade, right? So let's say you got a nice 280%. You caught 280% of the rally, the move up, right? Cool. Then you sold around here at the top. You're a perfect trader. And let's say you sold at the top. Now you're buying the dip. And you accumulated 40% more hex, right? On this correction here. So you got 40% more hex during this correction. Okay, cool. So you got a 280% rally, then you got 40% more hex on the correction, which is a lot, right? So let's do some maths. All right, so let me say this again so you guys understand. Let's say back here in July, you started accumulating all the way up until August, late August, or mid-August. Okay, let's say you took 10,000, you accumulated 10,000 hex. Okay? And you got a nice rip on averaged out, you got about a 260% gain from this buy. Okay? And now you planned on taking profits and you caught pretty much near the top around 45 cents. Let's say you've been waiting this entire time. Okay, you've been waiting to buy the dip. And now you started buying the dip. Okay? You started buying the dip around 27 cents. This is perfect trading. Okay? This is pretty much the perfect trade with 10,000 hex. So your 10,000 hex, at first it was worth like $1,200. And now at the peak, right, when you took profits, it's worth about $4,500. Now you waited to buy the dip at 27 cents hex, and now you accumulated on that dip 16,666 hex. Okay? So that's more than a 50%. You didn't double, but you got more than 50% of your stack, which is pretty damn good if you did the perfect trade. Now, did you really, in the long term, beat the smart contract? So this purple line right here represents the T-shares, the T-share rate. Now the T-share rate does move with the price, but it also ratchets up versus time. Now someone right now is thinking, okay, well, if I would have staked it back here in July and I would have end staked it now, I wouldn't have made more. That is true because it's a short-term stake. But what if you staked 10,000 back in July, or maybe around July? You staked 10,000 and then you divide it up by 1/3. So you made 3 stakes with it. One for 2 years, one for 7 years, and one for 5. Okay? Well, this entire time, what was happening? So let's say this entire trade took what? 98 days. Yeah, it took 98 days. It's right here, this blue line. This bar. So what happened in 98 days? Okay, this happened. And this is some of the stuff I post in the private group. It's kind of small. I don't know if I could blow it up. On the way up, there was a bunch of emergency end stakers. On the way down, there was a bunch of panic emergency end stakers. And these are bonuses. So when the volatility is high, up or down, and as time progresses linearly or horizontally, you're missing out on the interest. But the way this works is, the way the wealth transfer happens from the people who hold liquid and speculate to the staker classes, you're not thinking long term, because the T-share rate is ratcheting up versus time, more so than price action. So on a long enough time scale, if you would have staked earlier, not later, and tried to make the perfect trade and, double your stack, or at least get 50% more of your stack or whatever, if you didn't do that and you just staked it, you're guaranteed to grow your stack, because you're sort of locking in that T-share rate, right? So on a long enough time frame, the traders and the people who hold liquid, they get diluted. I know the inflation rate is only 3.69%, which is like the same as gold or around it, or it's less than Bitcoin's, right? And no one's getting paid to dump the price. But in the long enough time frame, the opportunity cost is in the future that you're missing out on, that you don't see or feel right now in the present. It's like Back to the Future. It's like Matty Allen in a DeLorean driving around the U.S. looking like the dude from the Back to the Future. All right. So it is hard to picture and understand and even explain. Yes, in the short term, if you can make the perfect trade and pull it off, it might benefit you. But the sooner you stake, the better. So if you're going to trade, you should always... I'm not saying don't trade, because, yeah, the traders do become the cannon fodder and the wash trade. So if you know what wash trading is, this only really happens on centralized exchanges. But in a way, in an organic, natural way, the traders become the wash trade within the price chart on HEX. Because they might get some good trades, but eventually they're going to get left behind. Or eventually they're going to take profits too soon. And then they'll buy the top, and then the price drops. Or even worse, here's what's really bad. Let me explain this. This is going to mess you up. But be cognizant of this T-share rate constantly ratcheting up versus time. Richard is pretty damn smart, brilliant for putting that into the smart contract. I mean, that's why this is evolutionary, right? it really benefits the staking class. And what it does is it doesn't force you, but all the incentives are there to stake and not trade. If you're smart and you do get some good trades, like on this way up, right? So on this, let's say 260% move up, you should have taken some of your stack, at least 1/3, something like that, and staked it. So you catch all the emergency end bonuses when people are panicking. Actually, when you first bought, you should have taken some and staked it right there, because there was probably just as many EESs happening on the way up as on the way down. And you want to catch these. And then you could trade the rest. Always skim off your profits from your trade and stake it out. And longer pays better. And longer pays much, I'm not exactly sure how much more, but longer pays better than versus the size of your stake. Yes, you do get a bonus. I think it's like only 10% or something, but at a certain amount, it doesn't matter how small you're staking, the further out, the bigger the bonus. You could see it. Matter of fact, if you use, what's this new app? This new app is amazing. It's amazing. The guy who made this, I think his name was Kai, I believe. Where is it? Well, if you go to HEX Noob, then you could find it there. Yeah, it's called stakehex.today. I actually have it up. I'll talk about this later in this video. And I'll talk about HEX Noob. I'll talk about a little bit about liquid loans. I'll talk about all kinds of things, all right? I'm going to talk about the most important thing, in my personal opinion, which is onboarding and how it's going to go viral and compound and blah, blah, blah. All right. But I really want you guys who are trading to understand this, all right? And people holding liquid. And I know a lot of people are holding liquid right now because they're going to dump Ethereum HEX as soon as the fork happens. Like, you think there aren't a lot of people thinking about that and plan on doing that? And someone tweeted this out. He called it the, where is it? All right, it's called the HEX bow wave. Postpolar posted this on Twitter. I noticed this as well, and it makes sense, right? So if people are planning on dumping EHEX right after the fork, they're restaking every like 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, trying to time the fork, right? So they have liquid HEX that they could dump. That's why this HEX bow wave is always the highest, and it's always moving in front of the staking chart, which is on what Firebun created. It's Elastic. It's hex.vision, right? It's right over here. So this will always probably be here because there's people always trying to cash out sooner rather than later. And then there's just a huge chunk right before, pretty much it's like a huge halvening. But this is when shares go deflationary. This will be around 2029, 2030. Again, if you're making a staking ladder, you might want to fill in these gaps where there aren't a lot of stakes coming due. Because I believe, could it be, that the price there'll be even less liquid HEX on the market during those times because stakes aren't coming due. Kind of makes sense, right? So yeah. So short-term mindset. That's why you want a whole ladder, I believe. Some people have other strategies. But here's the thing. Listen, when HEX goes higher than most of you think, and it will, my belief, there's going to be a ton of emergency end stakes. If you just have huge chunks every like 4 years or 5 years, you're going to look at that balance and you're just not going to be able to handle it. You're like, this could change my life. I just need to emergency end stake. Even if it nukes half, people are going to do it. So what I like to do is stagger it out. Maybe I have larger stakes every 2 years, every 3 years, but in between I have small stakes to hold me over, and I could just sell those. And if I don't need the money, right, I'll just roll it over. Maybe I'll roll it all the way out to 555. Maybe I'll take 10% and roll it out 555 every time a stake comes due. And that's what people are going to naturally start doing to keep that perpetual passive residual income coming in constantly, so they have a retirement and they could fund their lifestyles essentially into the future. All right, so this is stakehex.today. This tool is amazing. But I think I'm forgetting something I was trying to point out and talk about when I was looking at the charts. Now I'm jumping around and really annoying people. Well, you guys should start making videos. Everyone should be making videos now. Imagine where the price would be if everyone started making videos. It doesn't matter how bad you are, you're gonna suck in the beginning. I look at my first YouTube videos and I was horrible. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to show you guys. What else? Now this is if a perfect trade happens. All right? This is if a perfect trade happens. What's more than likely going to happen? You're not going to get a perfect trade. So people who've been trading for a long time, like a decade plus, know that there's no such thing as every trade is a positive trade, a profitable trade, right? It's all about position sizing, how much you allocate. It's really a numbers game. If you could have 7 losing trades and only 3 winning trades and still be profitable at the end of the month. How so? Well, there's rules like let your winners ride and cut your losses short, right? Easier said than done. Trust me. Way easier said than done. So let me give you an example of what's going to happen to a lot of people. All right. So here's what's more likely to happen. So let's say the same trade happened, right? You accumulated 10,000 hex down here, went up 260%. You took profits around the top here. Then you went and bought Bitcoin, right? But you bought it, you decided to buy it when hex broke down from this triangle, right? This was a fractal triangle. And it broke down around, this is Bitcoin, this orange line down here. All right, so you bought back. So you bought Bitcoin and then it dumped. It didn't work out, right? And let's say you only lost 10% on Bitcoin. Let's say you bought it like at the top right here, right? And it fell 10%. Okay, I mean, that's not too bad, right? You're thinking, because you got a 260% gain on hex from your initial buy down here, right? 260% gain. You took profits on hex, bought Bitcoin. You lost 10%. No biggie. So your $4,500 worth of hex is only worth $4,050 now, right? It's not that big of a loss. Wrong. Very wrong. Okay? So now you go, and not just that, but all of a sudden, hex just rallied. Let's say it rallied to, real quick in like one day, rallied to 40 cents. Okay? So now you missed out on that rally on hex from 28, 27 cents to 40 cents, and you lost 10% on Bitcoin. And now you got to pay all of the trading fees on top of that. It's probably like another $100 or something. But let's make the math simple for me, because I'm special. You only have $4,000 left, right? From this rally, this great trade you had. But then, now you're forced to buy back hex at 40 cents. So how much hex do you have? 10,000 hex. You are right where you started when you were accumulating back here. And you missed out on this entire time you could have been collecting emergency end stakes and the daily payout, which is averaging around 5.77 hex per T-share. And you missed out on the future opportunity if you staked some of that hex out 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Do you see how this works? Does this make sense now? So if you don't understand, rewind this and watch it a couple times, because it's hard to wrap your brain around it, right? But it's designed literally very well to punish speculators and people who hold HEX liquid and reward those stakers who hold the price up. That's why people who are like, no, we're going to 20 cents. I'm like, no, we're not, dude. For a couple reasons. One, I'm tweeting every day, nonstop. Consistency. I'm probably onboarding 100 people a day. When I make these videos, price goes up. Do I emergency end stake and sell? No. Do a lot of people in my private group do the same thing? Yes. We're holding the price up. Who do you think was buying all the dips for the past almost 2 years? I'm telling you, it's not going to 20 cents. All right. Because I haven't sold any. I'm not planning on it. Smart people think long term. I'm waiting for OTC markets where I could unload and it won't affect the price at all. And even if I was to sell, let's say, I would scale out slowly. It would take me like weeks or something, right? And I'd sell limit orders, not dump the price like a turd. Because you're going to get hit with slippage. You're going to get hit with massive slippage, and that's dumb. And you're hurting your own bags. Like, some of you need to grow up. Another reason why I didn't want to make videos early on is because I wanted these weak hands, these types of people who are early adopters and did get lucky and got a lot of HEX. I don't want to help them stay in the ecosystem. You know, there's a reason why Richard made that website in the beginning. Looked scammy as hell. It looked ridiculous. It looked like a website from like the early 2000s or the 1990s. He did that on purpose because he wanted the right people to have a lot of HEX, like the loyalists. Because some of us aren't even in it for the money anymore, guys. Some of us see this long term. If you know what I mean, you will soon, because I'm going to talk about that. This is all about onboarding. All right? And some people don't want to talk about that. They're like, oh, that sounds bad. You need to get more people in. Nobody knows about HEX. Nobody knew about Bitcoin in 2009, 10, 11, and 12. This is how all stocks work, how everything works. People need to learn about it, and then they make decisions for themselves. All right? If they want trustless interest with no middlemen, you have full 100% control of your own wealth, which generates yield, which outpaces inflation. Kind of a big problem right now, and will continue. Kind of saves your savings, and then possibly may replace your job. I really don't know how much more I could say. I mean, all right. Let's talk about StakeHex today. Great tool for onboarding. Real quick, you have $1,000. You made 4 stakes. You could place where you made your stakes, right? And how much. So, I mean, this tool is amazing. So on its set default, let's say the price goes to $24.65 by year like 2023, which makes great sense. I think it's more likely to go by the end of 2023. I'm thinking $100, something. Where I haven't really played too much with this. I played with it on my phone. So by 2024, you're projected $45,000 in interest. Your principal is about $107,000, and your total is $152,000. Cost was $250. Your ROI is 611x for year 2024. Not too shabby for $1,000. If it goes to like $112, and then it just tapers off and it's pretty steady at $121, something like that. How do I bring? You could change the bonding curve and the adoption. So that's just one stake of $250. Let's do just one stake. See what that looks. All right, you could change it down here. See maximum days. So let's say you staked $1,000 for 1,200 maximum days. So, play around with this. I mean, these are, possibilities, right? And I love this, that you could change even the emergency, or you could kind of add the emergency end stakes with this bottom line right here. So I put, 6.4 will be the average after year 2024 because, well, there'll be more emergency end staking as people see massive amounts of huge balances, right? All right, so let's say the price hits, I don't know, like $72. Okay, well, by the time your stake comes due, you're looking at $473,000. Your interest was $181,000. Principal $291,000. Let's do $150. All right, now you made $1 million. So all HEX has to do is go to 150 by year 2025. Is that it? And you staked $1,000. And it sounds crazy. I know it does. But this is equivalent of buying Bitcoin at like $30, and Bitcoin didn't have such a high yielding interest in such a high inflationary global environment where everyone on Wall Street and everyone in the world doesn't know this exists and doesn't know that there's a new invention created which actually creates massive yield and outpaces inflation. Possibly could it be a new bond market? Just saying. All right, let's say, it's not going to do anything like that. Let's say it just goes up to $25, $28. Let's do $28. All right, by 2025, you're looking at $173,000. Still pretty amazing, if you ask me. Still life-changing. Although inflation will be much higher, so you might cut that in half. But I feel like a lot more people are going to know about it. It's fun. $500,000 by year 2025 if it hits $83. I mean, this is projected to go to, this is a little crazy. Let's bring this down. By the end of 2023, I expect over, let's say $33 by 2025. I mean, now this bonding curve, I'm screwing it up. Let's just say it goes to $1,000. Let's calculate. 5,929,000. If you staked 1,000 to year 2025. I don't know. You guys play around with it. You can send people to HEX Noob. It has all the resources. Not all of them, but it has most of the good resources where new people could find out pretty much everything they need, I believe. And let's talk about the most important. And the most important thing is onboarding. I'll talk about the God whale in a second. Okay, so right now, half the squids, maybe a fourth, are activated. What do I mean by activated? What I mean is they see large balances of their stakes or their liquid HEX. And now they're motivated to onboard people, right? And that's why, and the dolphins as well. But I think the OA is the whales and the sharks and some of the dolphins. So there's not that many people in the dolphin and squid category. Not many who are out there there are, of course, the HEX streamers. If you go to hexstreamers.com, it's where all the HEX videos are at and everything. And those guys are motivated, right? They're already set, right? But they're still motivated because they want to see everyone in the ecosystem do well, and they know where HEX is going. Okay, so, and there's a lot of turtles who are starting to become activated and motivated. And what motivates you? It's when you start seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars, $500,000, a milli, and then you start seeing millies and millies, right? That does motivate you to start onboarding. Okay. Now, these leagues, and this is on the Staker app, the Squid League isn't going to grow by much because it's going to cost more and more money to become a squid. The Turtle League, that's already it's not growing as fast as it used to because it costs more money to become a turtle. The crabs have also already slowed down, but they're still adding, a decent amount, sometimes 10, 20, 30, sometimes maybe 50 when we get one of those viral cycles, right? So what I'm trying to say is, at what price points do the crabs get motivated? Because there's 20,000 crabs. I think when we get above $1 into $1.50, that's when the crabs get activated and they see some crazy balances if they hang on long enough. If they don't emergency end stake, and if they're patient, right? So I'm thinking, and this is just, don't base anything off of this. I'm just guessing. I was literally sitting on the toilet looking at this and just theoretically putting in numbers and thinking. But this could be completely wrong. But I think once HEX hits $1.50, you're going to get, by the time HEX is $1.50, we'll probably have 30,000 crabs. Maybe only 25,000 crabs. I don't know. But they will get activated and highly motivated. And what does that do? That really exponentially starts growing the community. By then, the turtles are freaking out because they never thought they would see that much money in their lifetime. The squids really starting to freak out. And then every squid's going to be like onboarding, or they should, unless they're a lazy piece of shit. People a couple hundred years ago, they would sell everything in Europe, risk their lives on a ship going across the Atlantic through storms and disease and rats on the ships. And then they would land, at Ellis Island. And then they would work their butts off building stuff and then save up a little money. And then they would head west all the way to California and in between, right? And then settle land and start farming. And they would risk their lives for years and years. And with pitchforks and shovels, go into coal mines and iron ore mines and, do rugged, life-endangering shit just for the dream. Just to maybe have their own little log cabin and have a garden or whatever. That's what people used to do. I mean, is it that hard to make a Twitter account and a TikTok account? Like, you don't have to have your personal name on there or anything. You can be anonymous, right? And to just, put up some hashtags and start making creative videos and tweeting. You could piggyback on, my account, my Twitter account, and get me to get some traction. And is it really that hard for freedom financially? And you don't have to. Is it really that hard? All right. Here, let me show you guys how easy. This is my Twitter account. This is when I'm tweeting shit. Why do you think I have so many hashtags? 2,600 impressions. I'll get 77 engagements on an average tweet. Okay, maybe only 7 people actually buy and stake. All right, well, 7 people 5 years from now, after those people start seeing some gains and start onboarding, 3,000 people 5 years from now. It's a gift thing. Was this my, here, I retweeted HexCong's island thing. Yeah, that got 2,287 impressions. Engagements 81. Worth it. Simple tweet. Yes, you do have to word things and, be creative. On average, every day I get at least one tweet with like a couple thousand views and new people. Now check this one out. This one did really good. I almost got 8,000 impressions. Total engagements, 1,000. Well, maybe 100 people actually bought Hex. And my account's not even big. There's a lot of Hexicans with like bigger accounts. Which is weird, but they like to follow each other. My shit's not an echo chamber. I'm actually reaching out and FinTwit, and I'm reaching out. If I see something trending, I try to hashtag that. So I could, I want new engagement, new people. I'm not on TikTok because I just don't have time for that shit. But a lot of you guys do. All right? If anything, share my YouTube videos. Share this video. Like, comment. Get the engagement. The algo's going. It's not hard. You're not in a wagon. You're not walking across the country to go into a mine and breathe in coal dust, try to prospect and find like one nugget of gold. Like I know we're used to being comfortable and lazy, but that's why we're in the mess we are in right now. And shit's about to get real quick. Things aren't going to go back to normal, and they're not going to get better. Time is on your side if you're staked, but also it'd be nice to see $10 Hex. It really would. And it's up to you. It's up to the community. If the entire 70,000 stakers, in a couple days it'll be 70,000. If they all onboarded 2 people in the next like fucking month, where would the price? Maybe at $1.50. Then what happened? The crabs get activated. The turtles are freaking out. Now they're activated. Everyone's euphoric. Everyone's like, holy shit, I made it. And everyone's onboarding. They can't stop talking about it. Some people are going to be hex flexing again. Your neighbors, everyone's going to be like, hey, how did you buy that new car and that McMansion? And the word gets out. And then it just keeps snowballing. It's a snowball. Starts at the top of the hill, and it just gets bigger and bigger as it rolls down the hill until we're a black hole and we sucked in the entire fucking world. And that's why Richard said during one of the meetups, it's like, for example, I did some punching up. I started talking smack to Zach Morris, right? One of those tweets got like a lot. I think it was over 10,000 views. All right? I don't care. Yeah, I'm in Twitter jail for now. I can't post pictures, I believe, but it was just totally worth it. So, you guys get it? There's no shame. I mean, I feel like I'm saving all these people, right? They finally have a savings account that won't be devalued by inflation, and their savings account might actually become like a second source of income and their retirement at the same damn time. All right? So, there's no shame. Just do it. Just do it now. The T-share rate, it's only climbing. Stop, maybe a little less trading and looking at the price chart and a little more onboarding. Maybe that's what you guys should be doing. All right? Go to Hex Noob. This is there. This is apphex.win. Another great front end. There's so many front ends now. Now, there's all kinds of bullish stuff like liquid loans. Hey, if you don't want to sell down that Hex and buy a car, a house, that'll be an option after Pulse Chain. Oh, yeah, shout out to Adidas HEX. It looks like Stu Presidente, he actually TikToked HEX out. Now, why would he do that? Was it because he was complaining about crypto guys going up to him? Yeah, maybe. Maybe he bought some. Why would he send out a TikTok about this exact encounter where Adidas HEX tried to onboard Stool Presidente? Another thing, whenever you fail, let's say, at onboarding, It doesn't matter. You planted a seed. That person's going to come back a year from now, 6 months from now. Why is that? Because they're going to get hit up by another person. So Stool Presidente is going to get hit up again and again and again by a hexagon, because there's only going to be more hexagons over, versus time. Yeah, so there's so many opportunities, especially with Pulse Chain launching, a lot of projects. And listen, a lot of guys did sell some hex probably so they could build out these projects on Pulse Chain, and that is a necessary that needs to happen. So what? They painted another flag on another bull flag. They're giving the noobs, you guys, an opportunity to buy the damn dip. So be grateful. And if you're staked and the price fell, you are buying every dip. Oh yeah, I forgot another thing. Okay, here's the hex chart again. Okay, let's say at the all-time high up here at 50 cents, your hex was worth $100,000. But you're staked. That entire $100,000 worth is staked, right? You have a staking ladder built out. All right, well, down here, it's worth 58% less. That's a big dip. But guess what? You were buying the dip every single day during this correction. Every single day, your T-shares were working for you, right? Your staked hex was working for you while you sleep, while you work. And it was buying every single dip. So when the price goes back up, right? When the price goes back up to the previous all-time high, do you once again only have $100,000 worth of hex? No, you probably have more. A lot more. Not a lot more, but maybe it's $108,000 more. Maybe it's $110,000. I don't know. Depends on how many emergency end stakes happen during the correction. So when the price goes back to the previous all-time high, you're up. You're not break even. You are up because of the APY. If you understand this, I don't know why. All right, let's talk about the God. All right, so I saw this tweet by littlerocketman.eth. He writes, the mysterious super whale that seems to be not only a diehard believer in Hex and Pulse Chain, but also has roots going all the way back to the early days of crypto. Here's what we know, plus a few new interesting discoveries. All right, so I first saw that article about the God Whale, I don't know, many months back. I think it was in 2020. And I brushed through it quickly. I personally did not look at his wallets. I just did for the past few hours as I'm recording and making this video. But let's read what he has to say. So, Godwhale is the owner of these addresses. Both addresses are funded with a Genesis ETH. Is Godwhale a real crypto OG? And then he has pictures and all kinds of stuff. Godwhale also owns a lot of liquid hex. Yeah. Godwhale is a long-term believer in hex. Yeah, he has like a ton staked 5555, 15 years out. 74 million hex. Over 1 billion stakes expiring. Godwhale might have been a decisive factor during the parabolic rise of Hex over the past 2 years. Simultaneously been buying up Hex during the recurring pumps. Yep. Godwhale has a gigantic bet on the upcoming Ethereum fork Pulse Chain. Godwhale is the second largest Pulse Chain contributor. Yep. Godwell didn't sacrifice Hex despite having more than what's even possible to sell as long as Hex is pre-viral. That's true. Godwell sacrificed ETH and that could have very well proved to be deciding Q in order to understand the role and significance of Gwei in the times to come. Everything mentioned above might be common knowledge. Godwell likes to sell low. Godwell is a much bigger fish than most people knew of. I've discovered at least 3 more wallets linked to Godwell that held Genesis ETH. Godwell seems to be using specific wallet for direct transactions through Kraken. But where does all the ETH come from? There seems to be 3 addresses. So, 20,000 ETH Genesis wallet, 80,000 ETH Genesis wallet, 310,000 ETH Genesis wallet. And it turns out that Godwell might indeed be the god of all crypto gods. This mysterious man or woman has received at least 810,000 ETH from the Ethereum token sale from like the beginning days. Who knows how much more there is to be found if you dig deeper. The end. So, I dug deeper. Where is it? I have like a like 100 tabs open as I've been digging deeper. I found another one. This one only has 5,900 ETH. It's a Genesis wallet connected to all of those other wallets. I went through all of them. So as I went through them, very interesting taste of altcoinery. They look familiar. Back in the day, 2017, there weren't that many crypto YouTubers, but I was one of them. I came across a pretty cool dude. We messaged for a little bit. He called me out for being a dick in my private group, which I respected, and then we started messaging back and forth. I just, I went through, I see familiar altcoins, this and that. So, I don't know who he is, but he's cool. It's pretty cool. If that is who it is, I don't know, I'm not certain. Anyways, very interesting. And exciting. I think at this point, some people are not here for, just the money. At a certain point, you got enough, right? There's more important things in the long term. So let's talk about the pumpamentals. Staker app, probably going to get better and better. Kareem's like some sort of manager there. Great guy. Super smart. The way he talks quickly and thinks off the cuff is it's pretty fascinating. This guy, he's always being chauffeured around. He's definitely a man on the mission. Swiss hexacopter. He's working on fiat on ramps. So, knowing that, right? You only need one globally. Okay? And then some big money inflows could come in. Especially if it's like based out of Switzerland. That'd be pretty dope. And then big money will find its way there. They can move about, right? Globally. So there's so much. I don't want to say roadmap because there's no promises here whatsoever. Okay? But we made a political decision. We want lower gas fees. We want to cut out middlemen. We want true DeFi. We want privacy. We want fast, cheap transactions. That's what we're hoping. Pulse chain, if it ever comes out, no promises, right? But when that does come out, it's a huge fundamental for HEX on Pulse, right? Also, Hart's Law will be in effect probably in the beginning for a while. So, as pulse goes up, Hart's Law, like the flexivity, as the tide raises all ships, so if pulse goes even higher, and HEX on pulse chain has to catch up with the T-share rate that's already set in stone through the contract. So when the fork happens, you're just copying, right? Well, it's copying the T-share rate as well, the formula. The contract doesn't change at all. It's immutable. Richard, no one could change it on HEX, right? So wouldn't the price catch up with the T-share rate? So wherever the price left off on Ethereum HEX before the fork, on Pulse Chain, it would have to, that gap would be filled. And if no one fills it, I will. Right? So that's a pumpamental. And then you're going to have two hexes. Now, in the long term, so even if Ethereum HEX does dump, will there be, for a while, a little bit, a 1-to-10 ratio, some sort of pairing? There is going to be massive arbitrage going back and forth. I'm thinking in the beginning it'll be like maybe a 1-to-10, 1-to-5, maybe a 1-to-3. Who knows? Nobody knows. But if you think about it, if Pulse Chain takes a lot of the load off of Ethereum, then the gas fees come down on Ethereum. So if all of the NFTs and all of the shitcoinery and all of that moves on the Pulse Chain, which I think it will. All right, why wouldn't they? Because they're getting slaughtered with gas fees, and the transactions are taking forever. So why wouldn't they? Like, give me a good reason why they wouldn't. I think they will. I don't know how long it'll take. It might take a month. It might take a year. I don't know. So let's assume that they start migrating over to the Pulse Chain. This frees up the Ethereum network, the congestion, and then the gas fees come down substantially on Ethereum. So after some time, HEX on Ethereum will might become equal with HEX on Pulse Chain, the price. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm just theorizing, So that wouldn't surprise me. The gatekeeping, it's gonna come down. By the way, today, Coinbase. So where is it? I just posted it. Hilarious. Whoever fucks with dogs, man, I would. Alright. So, HEX on Coinbase, first step, rolled out in some regions with self-custodian wallets. This is the first step for Coinbase, maybe someday listing it. We don't need them to list it, though. Like, honestly, we don't. We don't need any exchange to list us, really. We could just go straight to small offices and sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, institutions. We just skip that step. We could just keep onboarding retail investors, right? With Staker app. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna take over. It's just a matter of time. It's not if but when, right? That's what I believe. Consult your financial advisor. All right. So gatekeeping will come down. We're still pre-gatekeeping. Network effect and virality. We see little bits and pieces of it here and there. But eventually it'll just happen. Once we hit that 100th monkey effect, I've talked about that in my last video. Once, I don't know, maybe 80,000 stakers, maybe 100,000 stakers. I don't know. At some point, when there's enough stakers, and the price goes up, just, maybe we make a new all-time high towards 75 cents, then everyone gets excited again because of emotions, and then everyone onboards one more person, then the staker class doubles, and then it just starts doubling. Before you know it, there's so many people talking about HEX, it like breaks out into the mainstream, like it goes viral, right? At that point, there's no point in looking at the chart. It's just going to go straight the fuck up. Like, it'll be gapping like 10 cents a day. Like, it's going to be ridiculous. People aren't going to believe it. All right. So, yeah, I was talking about fiat on-ramps. The hexacopter guy's working on that. There was some rumble about an ETF. One of the funds was doing something with it, possibly prepping to list. I'm sure there's red tape and all kinds of things to go through. I don't know who's behind that and who's doing that, but cool. Awesome. By the way, you have to understand, everything is moving twice the speed that things used to move in crypto. So back in the day when Bitcoin was like, it's year 2 or 3, things didn't move this quick because it was so new. It was so new. But now crypto's kind of going into the mainstream. That's all they talk about on CNBS. Okay, well, it's going to be quicker for adoption for HEX because of all of the, it was like Bitcoin was like an icebreaker that just cracked the ice, and now the freight, the other ships could just flow right through, right? So HEX is the new ship flowing through. My analogies. Yeah, there'll be bigger players. Like every 1,000 hexagon onboarded, every new 1,000 hexagon onboarded, it's probably at least 1 millionaire minimum. Every 10,000 hexagon onboarded, there'll be maybe 1 billionaire, right? It'll get to the point where there'll be so many hexagons that everywhere on social media, like in the comment section, there'll be a hexagon commenting about HEX. It'll get annoying for non-hexagons to the point they capitulate. They're like, all right, I'm just gonna buy some. It's gonna be like that. I'm telling you, it's gonna get to that point. Of course, news coverage. Eventually, when Pulse Chain launches, I think everyone's gonna embrace it because they don't want to miss out on the next big thing. And Pulse Chain is easier to understand, and Pulse Chain will be like the gateway drug. So Bitcoin is the gateway drug to crypto, and then Ethereum is the gateway drug to everything else. And then Ethereum will also be a gateway drug to Pulse Chain, and Pulse Chain will be the ultimate gateway drug to HEX. Okay? And also, most of the whales in Pulse Chain are hexagons. So, man, we're going to see some crazy volatility and swing trades. And I mean, you're going to see Pulse Chain pump. HEX pumps. Pulse Chain dips. HEX on Pulse pumps even higher. HEX on Pulse pulls back a little bit. Then Pulse pumps. And it's just back and forth, back and forth. It'll be insane. Yeah, so it's going to be 2022 is going to be a crazy year for us guys. So get ready mentally. Maddie Allen has a show for sudden wealth syndrome. I've never seen any crypto community have to have a psychologist talk to you about handling sudden wealth, but we're gonna need more of that. I truly believe that. So, yeah. I don't know what else. Leave in the comment section what you want me to talk about. Leave anything in the comment section. You know what? You could go in the comment section and talk, and troll me, and I promise I won't ban you. Unless it's like really vile or something, yeah. Just get that engagement going. Share my videos. Share everything about HEX. It's all about onboarding. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen if everyone does it or not. it's just the question of how fast do you want this to happen? Do you want it to happen fast? Well, more people need to find out about HEX and then have to understand it. The understanding it is the hardest part, right? There's a learning curve. For some people, for some people, it's instant. For some people, it's 6 months. For some people, it's 1 month. For some people never get it. There's whales. I mean, there's people who were, early in the HEX in my private group, and they didn't even know what T-shares were until like a month ago. So, I mean, they just weren't paying attention to not even me. So, you got to pay attention. All right. This is a once. I mean, it's already been a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of people, but I believe we are still extremely early. Extremely. Right? I mean, it's pretty simple. Impulse chain is going to be nuts. Also, that liquid thing, it might be very positive for Pulse. Not all the time, but could be very positive for it. Alright guys, share my video, smash them likes, see you next time.